Hey guys, my name is Abhijit Minhas. I'm a physiotherapist and I specialize in outpatient orthopedics. And I've just completed 10 years in practice. And in this video, I'm going to talk about 10 lessons from 10 years in outpatient physiotherapy. Hope you enjoy. I graduated from my bachelor's in physiotherapy from D.Y. Patil College of Physiotherapy in Pune, India. And from there, I pursued my master's in exercise science in the US in Long Island University. From there, I started working in the US in New York City, practiced there for about 4.5 years, moved to Canada and started practicing here in 2019, and I've been in outpatient clinic ever since. After having worked in India, the US and Canada now, and seeing thousands of patients over the last 10 years or a decade, here are my 10 lessons from 10 years in outpatient practice. Alright, so lesson number 1, you will become a good physiotherapist with time. It's not going to happen as soon as you come out of college. You may have topped your class, but that may not matter. But just know this, if you have the imposter syndrome, which a lot of us have, we may or may not admit it, or if you feel like you're just not getting the kind of results that you would like to see and your patients are not getting better and you're new to the practice, I can assure you that with time, things will get better. What you really have to do is stick to the process. Always be inquisitive, keep trying to find out better things. My simple strategy in this was I always wanted to see what worked. If patients were feeling better and these were long-term effects, I would do those things. I would learn those things. I would do those courses. I would keep reading. So keep doing this thing, and I can guarantee you with the passage of time, go through the process. If you feel underconfident, show up. Keep doing lesson number 2, interpersonal and social skills are equally, if not more important than just your knowledge about the profession. It's one of the most undervalued skill which is not taught anywhere. So when you go into physiotherapy college, they just tend to focus on getting you good at your skills and getting good at diagnosing things and treating patients and treatment strategies and things like that. But you're expected to just have good interpersonal and communication skills. But if you really want a successful practice, what is most important is your ability to be able to be empathetic and to be able to connect with your patients. Because know this, your patients will come and see you initially just because you have a physiotherapy office and stuff, but they will stay with you if they enjoy coming to you and if they see that the physiotherapist understands their problem. And that's where these skills are really important. And I do find some really good physiotherapists are actually much better in their interpersonal skills and their social skills and bedside manners, and they might be just about average or above average in their physiotherapy skills. That thing you can figure out. This thing is rather hard to practice and manage, and unfortunately nobody trains us for this, but really important. Lesson number 3, sight of pain is not cause of pain. You want to get really comfortable with this fact in physiotherapy, and you'll see this a lot of times when patients come in and they'll say, oh, my shoulder hurts, and you'll start treating the shoulder. My foot hurts, you start treating the foot, throw some modalities, start massaging that area. Like the hip hurts, we kind of work on that area. So we need to get good at not being microscopic and having a bird's eye view or looking up top and seeing what the source of the problem is. Oftentimes, a lot of people tend to chase symptoms and just go after the area that's hurting. So just remember, there's this whole different aspect of physiotherapy where referred pain is real. We see a lot of patients with this. So you don't want to start treating right away at the site of pain. You want to try and get to the source of the issue. Sometimes that will be far away from the site of where the symptoms are. If you want to make a decent living in this profession and work and make some amount of money, work for yourself. No amount of job is going to give you that financial independence because you'll always be working for somebody else. As soon as possible, try and start working for yourself so that you have your own practice and you can make way more money through working for yourself than working for somebody else. Lesson number 5, it's a myth to believe that the clinical practice standards for physiotherapy across all clinics in US and Canada are the benchmark of practice. In fact, there are hundreds and hundreds of clinics in North America that have very nefarious practice, and if not nefarious, they also have just substandard practice. It could be heavily modality based, it could be just using massages or passive modalities for treatment, not doing thorough assessments. So when I was initially working in India, I believed that any and all practices in the States, in the US and in Canada were the gold standard for practice. And only when I moved here and I started seeing and worked in a bunch of different offices that I found that physiotherapy practice is really individual dependent and not country dependent. While overall standards might be slightly better here, but I can assure you there are so many offices where if you work, you'll find like you'd be rather disappointed in seeing how less is being done in some other places. Lesson number 6. Getting a detailed subjective history is so important and paramount in your objective assessment. Getting a thorough subjective history, asking the right questions, connecting the dots makes your overall assessment so much easier. Even without doing an objective examination, a subjective history almost gives us 90-95% or even 100% of the clinical picture sometimes. It's still pretty important to your objective examinations, but again, asking the right kind of questions can sometimes lead to already knowing what the main issues are, and you can sometimes even predict what you would find in your objective examination. So I would highly encourage everyone to get really good at it. While overall salaries in the US are better for physiotherapists, just know that it's not all hunky and dory there. There are a lot of issues in going to the US, and it's good to know those. The biggest one in my mind is the immigration process. It takes years and years to be able to finally be able to settle in US and practice as a green card holder or a US citizen, and the process to that is not easy. Unfortunately, sometimes you have to work in offices that you may absolutely not like, and you have to do this for years where you might not be able to do the practice that you like. You may not agree with the principles of how the office is running, what kind of care they are providing, but because of this one issue of immigration, you have to stick with this, keep your head down and keep working, and sometimes that can be a very toxic work. Physiotherapy continuing education courses are a big business. Somebody's making money out of taking these courses, but not everybody is bad. There are some good courses out there, but there are a lot of courses that I would now, having had the hindsight of going through a bunch of them, I would now be very wary of before going for these courses. In some of the contents, I have spoken about this in the past, but just know that save your money, do your research well. Also just read more research and understand that you don't have to take all the courses to get really good in your practice. And sometimes just taking every course out there can actually sometimes confuse you even more, because they all tend to have their own thought processes and principles. So just know it is definitely a business and you want to put your money in the right. Lesson number 9. With over a decade of working in outpatient physiotherapy, seeing anywhere between 15 to even 30 patients a day, I can tell you that outpatient physiotherapy is a lot of physical work. So take care of yourself, work out, practice what you preach, and play the long game. So definitely take care of your own health. And finally guys, lesson number 10, you cannot help everybody. There will be people who would not like the way you practice. There will be people who may not find benefits from your treatment. So just don't be too hard on yourself guys. Like just go easy, and just know that if you're helping the majority of the people, that's totally fine. Not everybody's going to be happy with what you do, and be okay. Alright guys, so those are my 10 lessons from 10 years in practice. If you like the content, please like, share and subscribe for more meaningful physiotherapy content. Until I see you next time, bye.